Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Invest Avenue. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from renowned investor and business tycoon, Warren Buffett. In this segment, Warren Buffett shares his insights on what it would take to revive America's economic growth to a robust 4%. Let's dive into his thoughts.
I have a question for you. What will it take to get America growing by 4% again?
Well, Charlie, that's too easy for me. You take it.
A lot. A lot. It's not going to be easy.
No, but if population grows 1% a year and GDP in real terms grows 2.5% a year, by the standards of 2,000 or 5,000 years, that would be remarkable. I mean, it would result in, a quadrupling of real GDP per capita every century. It's nice to have 4% in real terms, but 2.5%, it may be slow in getting us out from the slump that we entered into a few years ago, but it's a remarkable rate of growth for a country that already enjoys a very high standard of living.
Warren Buffett emphasizes the significance of sustained economic growth, acknowledging that achieving a 4% growth rate for America is not easy. While it would be remarkable, he highlights that even a 2.5% growth rate is substantial considering the country's already high standard of living. Buffett's comment underscores the importance of consistent growth and its potential to positively impact the economy over time.
It's a remarkable rate of growth for a country that has 1% a year gain in population. It is huge over one person's lifetime. I've used this a lot of times, but in my lifetime, the real GDP per capita has increased 6 for 1.
But it's nowhere near 4% per annum.
No, it's staggering. It's staggering. And we have $48,000 or thereabouts of GDP per capita in the United States. We are unbelievably rich, but an awful lot of people are not feeling that way, and in many cases for good reason. But we've got a tremendous country to work for. I mean, to work with. It's got all kinds of strengths, and it has this huge abundance that if my parents back in 1930, if you'd told my mother and father that when I was 81 that I would be living in a country that had 6 times the per capita output of their day, they would have thought that this would be a utopia. And it hasn't been bad, I might add. But our country is not a mess. Our politics may be a mess, but the output is terrific.
Warren Buffett acknowledges the remarkable growth in real GDP per capita over his lifetime, which has increased 6-fold. He highlights the abundance and wealth of the United States, noting that his parents would have considered it a utopia. However, he also acknowledges that many people do not feel the benefits of this wealth, and he comments on the messiness of politics. Buffett's comment reflects the complex reality of economic prosperity and societal challenges within the country.
Charlie, if you had to guess at the real growth rate per capita over the next 20 years in the United States, what do you think it would be?
That's after inflation.
Oh, no, this is just real.
Right, yeah, real. That's what I mean. But, I mean, after taking inflation out of it.
Yeah.
Well, if God would make a guarantee, I would settle for a very low figure. I think we're a very mature economy with a lot of social safety net and a lot of competition from new nations rising. I think 1% per capita in real growth would be a sensational result.
Yeah, which in 20 years means people would be living close to 25% better on average.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not bad.
So I think when you
That's
get
the
your,
next generation. In one generation, they improve.
when you get your expectations too high, when you think that 4% is what the world ought to provide you, you're asking for trouble.
It won't do it.
That's what happened in the housing boom. People got these foolish dreams, and then they just started doing foolish things to try and reach unattainable objectives.
But if you had the 1%, you would be talking about each generation living something,
It would
something
be,
over 20% better than their parents did.
from this base, it would be a sensational result.
And we'll probably get it, in my view. It won't come in even increments, but this system still works. And it works. And incidentally, you've actually seen, even after the incredible crash, in effect, that we had in fall of 2008, you've seen an enormous amount of resilience here. And of course, you compare it with Europe, and it looks particularly strong. But
Yes, but the resilience has been better for the businesses than it has been for the employment
yeah,
situation, which is too bad.
yeah, business has done extraordinarily well. You know, business profits as a percentage of GDP were right at the height, last year, and of course our own were. I mean, and that produces a lot of strains on the political system. Well, we mused enough on that, so let's go to station 10.
In conclusion, Warren Buffett believes that achieving sustained 4% growth in the United States won't be easy, but asserts that even a 1% real growth rate would be a remarkable accomplishment. He reminds us of the resilience demonstrated by the American business sector, despite the challenges faced.